Join us today as we run around Kodiak, Alaska, just see what we can find today. And what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to tie in all the things we've talked about probably in the last year about tips about working your own animal, using the light to your best advantage, bracketing your shots, things like that. And of course, we've got some rain now, but later it's supposed to clear up a little bit. So we'll see what we get. Right now, we're sitting on a kingfisher. Hopefully it fishes and lands. If we do that, we'll get that shot for you. If not, we'll talk till we get to another destination. So enjoy. We are done shooting kingfishers for now. They're still hunting, they're still fishing. We had about 4 or 5. Stopped raining, now it's trying to rain on us again. One thing, I guess, tips about this for shooting in the rain is sometimes you're going to have to manual focus through, because even your single point or your autofocus sometimes will hit the rain and not hit your subject. And the kingfishers got to get really fast in that shutter speed too when they're coming flying. But had a lot of fun, so we're actually going to move on to another location and see what else we can find. So I'll see you there. We have an eagle out here on a rock, and we're going to see if we can sneak out here and get some pictures of it. It's got some nice flowers behind its head. Found it here in this bay. It is flat, calm. Looks like we're at a slack tide right now, so I'm gonna mosey out here, see what we get. I'll talk to you in a bit. We're still working this eagle, trying to get closer and closer. We had actually 2, but 1 flew off. So we're trying to work this a little more and more. We're going to try to go around them more. We're trying not to lose the flowers. I think if we go right, we're going to have flowers right behind his head. See, we have that cedar tree, so talk to you in a minute. This is a good comp here. I'm doing video, but what we're doing now is like what we talked in that last video. We're just working in a circle around this eagle, and Not a ton of light out here right now. We're just kind of working around him, trying to get different compositions behind his head, just having a little bit of fun here. So we're going to keep moving, make a full 180 around this guy, see what we get. So he ended up having enough of us, but we just mainly did that same concept talk before. We saw the eagle down there on the stump down here on the rock. And we started off where we could get some couple shots, make sure we got it. And then we started working in position to get the flowers behind it. Then we just did the same thing we did before, is we just did a kind of a 180 degrees around him best we could, because you see here, he was on the stump behind me. We just had this beach. We had this little bit of road here. Not really a road, just runoff, but to work up behind it. And like I said, the sun, it's just crappy skies, but there's a little bit of sun above me. That's what we did. We just worked around it. We underexposed quite a bit on this shot because of the way the light is and all this stuff, and got a lot of different backgrounds with it. And that's what you want to do if you've got something that's going to sit and not move on you, is try to work around that subject. We talked about this when I was at Homer. It just worked really good today too, same concept. And just keep working your backgrounds, change your angles, get down low, get up high, just keep trying to work those angles till you get a lot of them, get a lot of shots. And then you can come back home and you can look at them and see how they are. It is cloudy, but still gorgeous here in Kodiak. For the most part, I shoot about 1,250 on the shutter. And what were you shooting most of the time?
160 ISO, 500 shutter.
500 shutter. So he was shooting a slower shutter. He's running a 400 rig. It's a Canon R7 with the 2x extender with the 7200. So you can get a 5.6 aperture, and well, you can shoot slower or faster. And I'm shooting, of course, the Nikon Z9 with the 2 to 500 at 5.6. I was shooting 6.3 and f8 too, a little bit of it, but 5.6 worked the best to get that separation. So a really fun time here walking this beach. Another little lesson on just kind of see something, how you can work it if it's going to stand still. So talk to you here in a bit. Yeah.
A whole bunch of little birds flying right there. That's probably the turnstone.
Well, this one's been a little more of a stealthy approach for us today. Don's over there crawling through rock. We came from all the way out there along this stuff to get over here. We've got black turnstones just over this ridge, so we're crawling and laying in all this fun, juicy mess. Don's trying to make his way around because these birds were kind of up on top of these rocks right here below us. Now they're working a little bit that way, so we're going to try to reposition. It's really nice laying on this stuff. Little bits of coral everywhere and me. So for the lesson today is more how to shoot in this gray skies and weather. And its tip is just to get out and shoot it. You're gonna have to watch your exposure. You're gonna have to use a little more ISO. And in these rocks, I'm shooting anywhere from 5.6 to f8. Most of the time I'm shooting f6.3. I'm shooting the Z9 again today with the 2 to 500. Don's shooting the R7 with the 7200 with the 2x converter again, so he's at 5.6. It's a really good combo. That's one of the few lenses that works really well with the 1.4 and 2x teleconverter as far as zooms go. So like I said, we're shooting these Turnstones, and really with this gray skies, what you do is you're going to have to shoot a little higher ISO. You can still get good images, so don't be afraid of shooting this gray light. I mean, this stuff's just gray right now. So what I'd suggest if you're shooting in gray light is you're going to go for more moody exposure and maybe turn them into black and whites. So they make really good black and whites. These Turnstones, a little tight in the rocks, may not be good black and whites, but I just can't turn out Turnstones. I don't know if you can hear them, but anyway, I'm going to see how he's doing where he maneuvered and see how that goes. So I guess the tip on this part to roll it all up for things we've been talking about in the last 8-9 months about how to shoot is get out in this gray light and go ahead and shoot. Because even out there on that point, there's some really cool trees, and if you get kingfishers or eagles or something sitting on top of these trees in this really gray misty, because it's kind of misted on us, it's not dry right now, you can get some pretty cool shots. So just kind of take what you get, take a gray day and turn it into a moody day as far as your exposure and how you're composing these. We're real good because we've got this kind of orangish greenish moss here to contrast those black Turnstones, because they're just black and gray and white, and they are chattering like crazy. So I'm going to work where Don is and see if he's getting a better angle, and I'll talk to you a little bit there. All right, well, it started to rain. These birds are still right here, but my battery's about to die, and I don't know how Don's is doing. What were you shooting for your shutter and your aperture and stuff for this, just so people will know kind of what you're shooting with the R7 with that combo?
1600 ISO.
Okay.
And 1000 shutter speed for the most part.
It's pretty good. He's doing a little better than me in this case. So I was shooting, 1600 shutter, and I was getting up 25-3000 on the ISO. But I shoot f8 a lot. You shooting f5.6 or 6 or 8?
5.6.
5.6. So, yeah. So how's the autofocus work on these little guys?
It was working real well.
Real good. Okay.
Sometimes whenever they were real close to the background, it didn't want to find the eye. It
Been found the body.
Pointed, got on the body, and it would find the eye.
Yeah.
Great.
So I really think this combo of the 7200 EF, because you can put an EF adapter on there, so you can get to 400 with that R7. I mean, it's a little more expensive combo. I think new that lens is about $2,000, but you can find it on sale from times about $1,250 or so. And of course, teleconverter, you get the version 3. But I really like that combo on that R7 because you get a lot more light out of it, and that lens is so sharp. Or you could go right to 7200 and do really good. So anyway, I think we're going to mosey out of this spot. But really, again, I think really to me the lesson is this, and this moody stuff is you can shoot. You're not shooting really crazy ISOs in this really gray light. Now it's a gray light, but we got a gray and black bird, and we've got this kelp here that's giving a little bit of color to the scene, and we got the ocean behind it. And I was getting little bokeh balls at times behind them. We got on top. So, and then turn it black and white. It's really cool. But yeah, we're gonna move on and see what else we can find in this misty day. Last day we're here, so talk to you here in a bit. Yeah, we came out to this little spot, this old cannery, abandoned one, and it has a bunch of pigeon guillemots and some eagles, and Don's over shooting some eagles right now at the end of a whole pier. And I'm shooting these pigeon guillemots, which is really cool. They, I didn't know when they open their mouth, the inside of their mouth is orange. It's really cool looking. That's what I'm shooting them, and it's raining right now. You'll see that in the video, and maybe you see it on my camera, but it's not bad, real light rain. But what we're having to do here, I'm having real tricky, is getting this bird exposed. It's a black bird with a white wing, and it's got a black background behind it, which I kind of wanted, but on a black bird it's really tough. So I'm shooting a lot of different exposures to see what I need in post. So what you want to do if you got a static bird like this guy's doing, with the mirrorless, you can look at it and you see, okay, that looks good for my exposure. I can see what I think I need to see. And look at my histogram, I'm not blowing anything out left to right. But what I do there is, after I do that, I take a few shots, 1 or 2 stops up on an ISO. I'm gonna do a few lower, and then I will also take and lower my shutter speed down to a low and try to drop that ISO. And if I got a static subject, I'll shoot a lot of exposures to try to get maybe that one good exposure from what I thought it was. So the tip there for me would be just to, if your bird's not moving, you got the shots you think you need, go ahead and do some 1 to 2 stops over on your exposure, 1 to 2 stops lower on your exposure, because when they get post, you find the one you like. And so I'm going to shoot some more of these birds, but this may be it for us today. But I'll talk to you here in a minute and let you know if that's it. But hopefully these 3 little encounters we had with walking around the eagle, here talking about, you know, you got a static subject, you know, if it's staying there for you long enough, shoot what you think is your good exposure with looking through your viewfinder and looking through your histogram, and then take a few overexposed, a few underexposed, and then change your shutter speeds a little bit and your aperture and see how that works too. Play with it a little bit more, get enough of the different exposure settings that may save you. And then with the turnstones, you know, take a moody, a day like today and turn it into a moody shot or a black and white shot. Go out and shoot in these conditions, because right now that rain coming down, I look really cool going by these birds too. So I'm gonna go shoot the eagles and down where Dawn's at, and if that's the end of it, I'll let you know, but talk to you in a minute, hopefully. Wanted you in the frame.
Is this my good side or is this my good side?
No, it looks like ass to me. Can't include that.
On the spot, you know.
So yes, this will be the end of this video and on these eagles. And these eagles are so cool. This is old, like I said, old abandoned cannery. There went one, should have got a new flight. And this other slip over here it's an old abandoned slip, still in use a little bit for the NOAA stuff, but It has got grass growing on it and moss. It is just really gnarly, good looking. And these eagles just look beautiful on it. And I got some video of them stomping around. Don got some shots. Really good. Tip on eagles or birds that are white and dark. Look at where you think it should be the exposure and drop it 2 stops. That's what I've found. Because I'll get in post and I'll think I look like I got good exposure in that head of that eagle. What I'll see is I have no feather detail, no head detail because it's too bright on that head. You're not clipping it, but it's just too white. So when you try to do your edits, it's just really, really bad. So I tend to take those eagles and drop them 2 stops and they almost all look good. Plus it also makes that look richer as far as the wood and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's it for us today here in Kodiak, guys. We've had fun. We had an eagle that we, like I said, we could use the concept of walking all around it and trying different exposures, shooting high, shooting low, shooting mid to that for backgrounds. We shot the Turnstones, and it's just like right now, how do you take a rainy, moody day, or dreary day, excuse me, and turn it into moody shots and use that, use the light to your advantage by making it look moody, just like these shots we did here. We're shooting real underexposed, real dark, real rich. And then, just like I said with the guillemots, pigeon guillemots, of trying to get your exposure with a dark animal, dark background. You know, you gotta, if you've got an animal sitting for a long time, play with your exposure, just like these. Raise your exposure, drop your exposure. That's one of the tips I think you learned this trip was bracket your shots. If you've got the animal sitting there long enough, take your shot, then go ahead and say, okay, I got the shots I think, the exposure I think it is. Now go shoot them high, shoot them low, change your aperture a little bit, change your shutter speed a little bit, play with it a little bit while you've got that animal there, and you'll get back to post, and sometimes you'll find out the shots that you thought was good were not good, and maybe the underexposed shots like these eagles are great, or the overexposed on a dark bird like these guillemots work. But that's about it. We're gonna go look for some other stuff just for ourselves, but this video is done. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, like, subscribe. Again, go follow Don on Instagram if you can. Thanks to the guys that did follow on last video that followed him. Really nice to see. And again, if you want to help us out monetarily for this channel to do more of this, to get out in the field and see some more stuff, not just same boring places, become a member of the channel. And until next time, like always, guys, get out and go run that shutter.